Podcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Catherine. I'll be your webinar facilitator today. Welcome and thank you for joining us for the BACnet Integration with VRV Systems webinar. As a brief reminder, all lines are currently on mute to prevent background noise. If you have questions during the presentation, please go ahead and type them into your chat box. We'll be happy to answer at the end of the webinar. This morning, I'd like to welcome Ray Yang, VRV Controls Engineer. Ray, you may now begin the webinar.
Thank you, Catherine. Good morning, everyone. Thank you again for joining our webinar today. Here's the agenda for today's presentation. First, I will introduce two product solutions that Daikin offers to integrate with BMS systems through the BACnet protocol. The first one is the interface for use in BACnet, and the second one is the ITM BACnet server gateway option. Then I will discuss the details of these two products. I will compare their control capabilities and summarize them. I will also compare these two products with our competitors. And in the end, I will talk about the resources on the training and the technical documents. So as introduced, the Daikin offers two product solutions to the BMS, the Building Management System, to control and monitor the VRV systems through the BACnet IP protocol. The first one is the interface for use in BACnet, the DMS 502B71. It's also known as BACnet Gateway. It is a hardware gateway that translates the Daikin's D3net protocol to BACnet IP protocol so that the VRV system can be controlled by the building management system. It also can work together with Daikin's central controllers, the iTouch Manager. The second solution is the ITM BACnet Server Gateway. It is a software option to the iTouch Manager. It helps the ITM to be not only a central controller to control the VRV system, but also be a gateway to integrate with the BMS, and it eliminates the need for an actual hardware gateway. The interface for use in BACnet, the BACnet interface allows the BMS to control the VRV system by commanding the Indo unit points. So the gateway itself can control two D3net systems. For each D3net system, you can control up to 10 outdoor units, 64 indoor unit groups, and a maximum of 128 indoor units if you group some of the indoor units together. So it can control two D3net systems, means that one gateway can control up to 128 indoor unit groups, and that is a maximum of 256 indoor units. It also have an option board called DAM411B51 available. So with this option board, it can be inserted in the gateway directly into this slot, and it expands the gateway's capability to control two more D3net systems. So that means that with this option board, one gateway can control up to 256 indoor unit groups and a maximum of 512 indoor units. The interface for use in BACnet can also be used to control and monitor the residential products, the multi-split and the mini-split units with the KRP928 adapter. And this adapter is needed for each individual indoor unit. The ITM BACnet Server Gateway, on the other hand, is a software option to control the VRV system. It can not only control the VRV system, but also monitor the service data from the VRV system via the BACnet IP protocol. So it can control up to 128 BACnet devices. One indoor unit group is counted as one BACnet device, and one outdoor unit is counted as one BACnet device. So the total number of the indoor unit group and the monitored outdoor units should be less than 128 for one ITM gateway option. and the capacity is also limited by the total number of BACnet objects. So when you are commissioning this ITM gateway, it is necessary to choose which BACnet objects you would like to expose to the BMS, and the maximum number of BACnet objects you can control is 4,000. It can also be used to control and monitor the multi-split and the mini-split units, but it cannot be used to control the energy recovery units, the VM unit, and it is not compatible with the, if you use the BACnet server gateway option, you cannot use the BACnet ITM BACnet client option, the PPD option, the Wiggle IO system, and the DNet monitoring anymore. So both products enable the BMS to control the VRV system by controlling the VRV indoor units. So in a VRV system, the outdoor units are not controlled directly by the BMS, but the outdoor unit operates automatically based on the indoor unit's demand. So the BMS only need to control the indoor units, and both of these two products provide the BMS this capability to control the indoor unit points. But the difference between these products is that they provide different control and monitoring points even for the same indoor unit. The gateway, the BACnet gateway, it provides just basic control and monitoring points, such as like on/off, set point, mode, and monitor room temperature and error code. But the ITM gateway, on the other hand, it can make use of ITM's native function and provide more advanced points. For example, instead of providing just an indoor unit on/off point, it provides the integrator occupancy mode point, and the BMS can set occupied, unoccupied, and standby. And instead of providing just one single point of set point, it provides occupied cooling set point, occupied heating set point, unoccupied cooling and heating set points. So in this way, the BMS can make use of ITM's native logic to adjust the set point based on the different occupancy mode. And the BMS integrator will no longer need to write the control logic for the occupancy mode. So on the other hand, if you are using the hardware gateway, the BMS integrator will need to write their own program for the occupancy mode, and the different set point depends on the occupancy. So similarly, the BMS can enable ITM's auto changeover logic, and also the ITM's own schedule function. So by using the ITM BACnet server gateway function, you can significantly reduce BMS integrators' workload, and the learning curve for the integrators to learn how to control the VRV system can be reduced as well, and it can prevent potential misunderstanding or controlling problems. Another difference between these two products is the BACnet virtual BACnet router function. So the BACnet gateway, the hardware gateway, can only provide one device ID per gateway, which means that you need to provide a comprehensive point list to the integrator for them to understand which BACnet objects is applied to which indoor unit. And the ITM gateway, on the other hand, has a virtual BACnet router function that with this function, you can assign individual device ID to each indoor and outdoor units. It can help reduce the programming time because the integrator can, with this function, the integrator can easily copy-paste his program from one indoor unit to another, and just need to change the device ID instead of change the BACnet instance number for each individual point. So with this function, each indoor unit has an individual device ID and ID number, and they share the same exact object list. and each auto unit also has an individual device ID, and the object list for the auto units are the same. The ITM itself also has a device ID, and it has its own object list for just the ITM system setting. So user can easily assign these IDs and choose the objects they want to control. The ITM gateway has another advantage against the hardware BACnet gateway, is that it provides the VRV indoor unit and the outdoor unit operational data. So with this operational data, the BMS can monitor and trend the whole entire mechanical systems. So for each outdoor unit, for each indoor unit, it provides 6 service monitoring data. So 1 set of these points per indoor unit group, and for each outdoor unit, it provides 1 set of general monitoring points for each outdoor unit, and it also provides 1 set of module controlling points for each module in that particular outdoor unit. So these points are available for the VRV4 outdoor units models only. So that includes the VRV4 heat pump unit, the heat recovery unit, or the Aurora heat pump and the heat recovery unit. Because in the first launch, we didn't say that it's compatible with the Aurora unit, but after we tested, we found it's also compatible with the Aurora unit. So with the ITM gateway, the BMS can also monitor and trend the operational data, but the hardware gateway cannot provide this function. For the commissioning, the interface for use in BACnet, we'll need a setup tool to configure the BACnet IP settings. That includes the IP address, the submask, the default gateway address, and the BACnet instance number, and all the related settings, for example, like BBMD. But it also needs a point list calculator tool to calculate those BACnet instance number if the BMS integrator cannot auto-discover this indoor unit points. So with this software tool, it can help calculate this list for each individual BACnet object. It will give you the instance number for the BMS to control. For the commissioning of the ITM BACnet server gateway, first you need to perform the LNet commissioning on the D3 net, which means that you need to set up the LNet address for both the indoor unit and outdoor unit, and using the LNet commissioning tool to commissioning the LNet on the D3 net. So after you configure the LNet commissioning, you can go to the ITM and export the BACnet server data commissioning file from the ITM. So and it is just a CSV file that you can easily edit it by the Microsoft Excel, and you can, in this configure file, it's where you set up the BACnet IP settings, the instance numbers, and you can select which individual BACnet points you want to expose to the BMS here. So to summarize and compare these 2 products, here I marked the features that have more advantages against the other one in blue. So let's go over this list one by one. The ITM gateway option is the software option in the ITM. So basically, it eliminates the needs for a hardware gateway, and that means less installation time, so which we consider as an advantage. And as far as the cost, the list price for these 2 products for both the ITM server gateway option and the BACnet interface is very close. But for using the ITM server gateway option, it's mandatory to have the ITM hardware. Where for the BACnet gateway, the ITM is optional. So the BACnet gateway may have more cost efficiency if you didn't add the ITM in this project. Otherwise, the cost is about the same. For the control capability, the ITM server gateway can control up to 128 BACnet devices. That include both the indoor unit groups and the outdoor units, this number. And it also has, but for the hardware gateway, it can control up to 256 indoor unit groups if you use the additional option board. So I would say the hardware has more, the hardware gateway has more advantage when it comes to capacity. As far as the indoor unit controls, the ITM gateway definitely has more advantage because it provides advanced indoor unit control points that can make use of ITM's native logic, and it also has this virtual BACnet router function to assign individual device ID to the indoor units. So for the VRV indoor unit and outdoor unit operational service data, only the ITM BACnet server gateway option can provide this feature and provide those data to the BMS. And for the commissioning process, the ITM server gateway needs to perform LNet commissioning, and then it's very easy to edit the CSV file to select which point you want to expose to the BMS and commissioning the BACnet settings. And for the BACnet gateway, you need to install and use a setup tool to set up and the BACnet gateway, and you need to provide a comprehensive point list to the integrators with the BACnet instance number and the linked indoor unit devices. So I would say this one is very close. And for the ITM server gateway, it cannot be used to control the VM unit, and it's not compatible with other options of the ITM, the BACnet client option, the PPD option, the Wiggle IO system, and DNet monitoring. So, but the ITM itself actually has the built-in data translot function and remote access, which we believe that it gives more advantage to the users. So as you can see that if you try to choose which product you want to use for your project, the ITM BACnet gateway definitely has more advantage when it comes to controls, but it also has some limitations. For example, if you have a multi-tenant building that needs the ITM PPD option, you can only go with the BACnet gateway because the BACnet server option is not compatible with the PPD option. So that's so this is a summary of comparing these two products. And also, if we compare both products with our competitors, our Daikin ITM server gateway option definitely gives us more advantage over our competitors. First, only Daikin can provide this BACnet virtual router function that assigns individual instance number to each outdoor unit and indoor unit, and none of our competitors can do that. And we also offers operation data for both indoor unit and outdoor units. Some of our competitors can also do that, but not all the data for the outdoor unit modules. And we also provide indoor unit EEV position and the discharge air temperature, which is only used for FXMQ PP unit, is also available as a BACnet points. And the defrost, oil return, and the freezing protection status is also available as a BACnet points for each individual indoor unit. So these are the technical document resources that are currently available on Daikin City. So if you go to the product page for these two products, you will find the design guide. The ITM BACnet server design guide we just updated recently, and this is a document that you need to hand over to the integrator for them to so that they can look up and use it to control the VRV system. And it provides the flyers, operation manuals, and the ITM submittal datasheet includes this gateway option, and ITM specs. Get specs also include the details for this ITM server gateway option. And for the BACnet interface, you also have the design guide that you need to hand over to your integrators, and it also gives you a point calculator tool to calculate this comprehensive BACnet point list, and provides you all other documents you can also find on the Daikin City as well. And this following webinars are already available on Daikin City and Daikin University. So first one is the LNet engineering tool for ITM. It teaches you how to commission the ITM, the D3 net using the LNet engineering tool, so that you can commission the D3 net first and then use the ITM server gateway. And we also give ITM's version 2.06 update webinar last year that discussed the new features of ITM, the new ITM software. And we also gave IT setup and VRV controls webinar in June 2018, talks about the basic knowledges related to VRV controls on the IT setup, like the BACnet and IP address, those basic knowledge and features for you to understand. And we also provide training classes related to these two products. The first one is the VRV integrator training. This is a requested training for the integrators itself. So if you request this training, we can provide this VRV integrator training to integrators. And for the ITM installation and commissioning class, we talk about how to commission ITM and the BACnet server gateway. And we also have a BACnet interface installation and commissioning class available for the BACnet interface commissioning. So that's all for today's presentation, and I would like to show you one more time where you can find all the webinars, because we have you might be interested in our previous webinars. So if you go to the Daikin City library and go to General Controls tab, the sales presentation and webinars, you can find today's webinar is already included here, it's uploaded here, and you can also find the other webinars such as the ITM LNet engineering tool update of those presentations here. And I believe you can also find the recorded webinar in the Daikin University as well, right?
Exactly. So if you were to navigate now to the training, I don't know if you can go back to the home page and go to, and we log into Daikin U.
The training?
Yep. Should take you right to Daikin University. I don't usually do it that. Your home was displayed differently than my home was. Can we go back for a second?
Okay.
You do a tree. I guess I do it differently. Sorry. There's usually a big. Oh no. Sorry. Go back up.
Okay.
Was Daikin University listed right there?
Maybe you can just type directly on Daikin University, right?
No, you can't. You have to actually log into Daikin City.
Okay.
Your homepage looks really different than mine, so I really thought it was going to be under training, and it would log you right straight through to Daikin University.
Okay.
Sorry, you guys, I'm not that great at navigating Daikin City, obviously, but just out of curiosity, try that training again. We'll see. Well, you're in documents. I don't know why.
Oh, maybe. Can we go to a product?
This is what, yep, university.
Okay, the Daikin
Sorry about that, you guys. I'm like, it doesn't,
Sorry.
okay. So if you go to the top right corner where the search box is,
Okay.
and you type in recorded webinar, you're going to start to see them pop up, and you can hit enter. And you're going to start to see the recorded webinars that are available.
That's great.
Yep. So
because last time,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, because last time people, when we did a survey to ask people what they want to listen for the webinars, a lot of people talk about the ITM, and we already give several ITM webinars, so I believe it's all already here, right? So if you go to Daikin University and search for ITM, you can find those webinars.
Yep, and if you are looking for a webinar that you're not seeing for some reason, just drop me a line at daikinwebinars@daikincomfort.com, and I'll make sure that it's there. It may be something that we need to tweak in the system, but they should be there and available for everybody. And I'll go back through and just double check in terms of the controls webinars and specifically. But so definitely you can go ahead and watch the recorded webinars, or in Daikin City you can go ahead and get the actual slide decks. So awesome. So at this point in time, I just wanted to mention, of course, if you have any questions, use your chat box. We'll be more than happy to answer your questions. And I did want to remind you, of course, you will receive a follow-up email a little bit later today with the link to the webinar recording. And again, it'll go out on Daikin U. And in your post-webinar survey, if you can let us know what controls topics you would like upcoming webinars on. I know last month we were asking people, and we'd like to get some suggestions in the rotation. What is it that you're looking for more information on? I'll make sure to pass that on to Norm and his team. And I did want to mention, Norm did have one comment, and that is we're also currently working to add the VRV4W units to the BACnet integration with VRV systems. So just waiting to see if anybody has any other questions. And at this point, I don't have any. If you're typing something, I certainly don't want you to feel cut off. I want you to make sure your questions are answered. You can always reach out to me at daikinwebinars@daikincomfort.com. You can always tuck a question into your post-webinar survey. But with that, I think that's all we have for today. Ray, was there anything you wanted to say in closing?
Just thank you guys for joining our webinar again, and looking forward to see you next time.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much. And for everyone who took time out of your busy schedule, we appreciate it as always, and we look forward to talking to you on another webinar soon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.